This is a video for the Fight the Power Lines group, and also for anybody interested in our goals that we have, that we all share as members of the Bartram Springs community. So there was this post that I commented on yesterday about the power lines going up. My posts about our progress with our group and what we're up to have been regularly deleted by the admins in this particular group, the Bartram Springs Neighborhood Community group. This is the one with the CDD at the top. And so anyway, I just thought, well, why don't I just make a comment on one of the threads, because maybe they won't delete that, versus just actually making a new post, right? Because any news that we've posted about our Fight the Power Lines group, our meetings, the progress we've been making, what we're up to, trying to get people to join up and be a part of it, have basically been squashed by the admins of this particular group. So I decided to just go ahead and make a quick comment instead. So this is the comment that I made. Obviously, there's a lot of comments prior, and so I just said, because people were talking about the HOA and how the HOA is going to solve all the problems. Well, we could talk about this a lot, but that's not the point of this video. We have reason to believe that the HOA is useless in this matter, thus a group has formed to proceed without them. Cannot post more here, as the group admins have a seeming conflict of interest with ours. They remove our posts, attempting to gather more support for our efforts to save Bartram from the JEA power line invasion. If you want to help, direct message me. Otherwise, enjoy your new non-stop 3 to 30 Gauss radiation. So, yeah, I suppose it was a little punchy, but anyway, look, they actually didn't delete, I have to hand it to the admins, they didn't delete that comment, which I guess was, like, very nice of them. But the admins actually did make a bunch of comments. So I just want to read through these. But before I do, after this comment was made, I also found that I've been banned from the group temporarily. I've been temporarily banned just for making that one comment. This is what happens when you speak up in this group. And I don't know if the admins are an extension of the HOA, but when you actually try to do something for the community and you actually are attempting to make your voice heard, and you're trying to communicate something that is obviously in the interest of the community, you get banned. Like, you're basically silenced. That's what the admins have now done to me. I mean, it's a temporary thing. It's like Friday, right? But it's like, you made this comment, therefore we're going to ban you. That was, because I wasn't banned before, right? So clearly it was because I made that comment. I just said, here's what I believe. This is what we're going to do. Would you like to help? Go ahead and get in touch with me. No links, not even really anything purely negative. So anyway, that's what happens to you. Little warning from from this particular Facebook group. So let's go ahead and read through what the admins said. As one of the admins, we don't have a conflict of interest with your group. However, people have been getting concerned with your lack of replies when questions on things. Interesting comment, Lindsay. So the way that you assure that I will respond to people's comments is by banning me from commenting. How interesting. What an interesting way to encourage this to improve. Also, besides that, any comments that I've seen on any of my posts, or any replies to any of my comments on any of the posts in this group, I actually have quite extensively replied to as well. So what look, what are you talking about? Please present me with the many threads that I have failed to comment on. I mean, look, maybe I missed them. I don't know. But generally speaking, when somebody comments on one of my posts in here, I'm pretty active on Facebook. So, yeah, tell me all about it. I'm very interested in your assertion that I have not replied. Okay, cool. So let's move on. When questioned on things. So, I understand trying to be hush-hush about your group, but I know myself I'm not going to give up information about me to join your group without more information. Okay, so that's fair. If you want more information, you should get in touch with me, but I'm not going to post private information about what our group is doing in detail in public. This is a public Facebook group. Anybody can join. JEA is on here. I'm not going to do that. So feel free to get in touch with me. You don't have to give up your information. Frankly, your information's already public. I mean, you're on Facebook. But that's fine. And we are just starting to meet. I mean, we literally had our third meeting yesterday. So we really don't have that much information about the group. We're trying to form it, So I don't know what your distrust is about just giving up some very basic information so we can contact you. But okay, that's of course up to you. Maybe there's another group that's trying to make this work. I don't think the HOA is, based upon everything I've heard. But okay, let's continue. As the other admin, your group is confusing people, thinking that it is the one working with the HOA. Having multiple groups fighting is not going to help fight this. Bashing our HOA is not going to help this. So, yeah, let's take each of these separately. So, your group is confusing people, thinking it's the one working with the HOA. So, anytime anybody's asked me, hey, are you working with the HOA, or isn't the HOA handling this? I've always categorically responded with, we stand apart from the HOA. We are not a part of the HOA. We're not working with the HOA. We are separate. So people are confused. They either have missed my comments that have clarified that, or they're confused because of no knowledge of our group. So, and look, I understand, I get that it could be confusing seeing our group. People are assuming maybe that's the HOA. That's fair. But I'm not responsible for your assumptions if you got that confused. And people can ask, and I have responded to everything I've seen at least. And there is something called a direct message. Our information is available. You can contact me via Facebook, which is how we're communicating here. So, I mean, I get that there's confusion, and people are responsible for their own confusion. I'm not. But it's your group, so if you think that's better just to have people think the HOA is going to make everything better, which I believe is not true, but maybe you think differently, then of course that's your prerogative because it's your group. Having multiple groups is not going to help. Interesting. So more people doing more to try to fight JEA doesn't help. I wonder how that works. That's an interesting opinion. I'd love to hear more basis for that. That less people doing less is better than more people doing more. Okay. Interesting opinion. Bashing our HOA is not going to help this. Cool. So look, nobody's bashing the HOA. That's a straw man on your part. We're just simply saying the HOA is ineffective and they're not producing the result. JEA is about to start construction and they're not stopping. And the HOA hasn't told us any different. There's no reason to believe from any communication from the HOA or anybody connected to the HOA that is not true. So that's not bashing. That's called, here's what's actually happening. You think that's negative? Then, that's a fairly thin. I mean, if the HOA can't handle, that's not even criticism. That's just saying what's currently communicated. I mean, they haven't communicated anything different. And I mean, if your gripe is, well, you're really private and you're not telling us what's going on in your group, like, it seems like it's the same thing with the HOA. Like, they're not telling us what's going on. I mean, my understanding is that we've gotten nothing but generalities about that. So Lydia attended our meeting last night, so said some positive things. Appreciate that. Let's see. Talk about the HOA. This is nice. What Jeffrey is doing may be beneficial. When he here it's the same gripe. When he doesn't respond to people's questions, it raises concerns. Please, once again, tell me, what questions have I not responded to? All right. Let's see what else we've got. Lydia responds to that. Talking about the drunk people at the HOA. I don't know what that's about. Sorry, I don't attend HOA meetings, so. Alright. Okay, great. And then Lindsay has a bunch of questions here. I, of course, can't answer these because I'm banned from the group now. Where is money coming from to fight JEA? You'll have to have deeper... So Lindsay, let me just address this directly since I've been silenced in your group here. Where is the money coming from to fight JEA? You will have to have deep pockets. So, first of all, we have felt that, and we feel that, people have money, and so if we get enough people, then there will be a potential source of funds in numbers. Second, we also don't believe that money is what solves everything. Our understanding is that the legal avenue is something that, has very limited efficacy, like trying to get an injunction and all that. I think I'd love to do all that, and I think we can. I don't know how much money that's going to cost. I don't think it's going to cost a lot, but we feel that JEA is going to respond better to public embarrassment. Evidently, that's the one thing JEA has said that they have a huge problem with, and if there's no problem for JEA to do what they're doing, then they'll just do it. I don't see any reason why they wouldn't. So we are going to go the publicity route at this point, and I think we should go the legal route as well, and that's going to cost money. And you know what? If we had 75 to 100 active people in our group, which is not what's happening in the HOA, although obviously they have money that they could use that it doesn't look like they will use, but if they do, that would be nice if they actually did something with it. But it doesn't seem that's not apparent that they're going to be using their pockets to do anything. So if we had 75 to 100 people who are really active in our group and serious, you know what? There's money somewhere or even with enough people involved, there's probably people in our community that could help with fundraising. Don't you think? So we figure, let's start with getting some bodies active. And then at some point, strategically speaking, fundraising can be something that we all can team up about. So I think it's a valid question, and that's the answer that I think our group has come up with so far. Who exactly does he know that can make his efforts be noticed? So we all know somebody, number one, and number two, we know each other in the community. We need first of all, the community hasn't even noticed. We're having our meetings. We have 5 people at our meetings out of thousands, right? That's not enough. So what would be nice is if you guys noticed. That would be really nice. And if our own community doesn't notice that the power lines are going up and we're not doing anything serious to stop them, then anybody else noticing is going to care much less than us. So if you don't care, like, what do you think the rest of Jacksonville is going to feel? They're going to be like, look, if Bartram Springs doesn't give a crap about power lines going up, then nobody else is. So who do we know? Well, I know you. You could come to a meeting. If you don't want to give up like your email or your phone number, so like we can't talk to each other, well, okay, well, like, at least DM me. Like, obviously I have your information on Facebook, right? So, come to a meeting, and then we can talk and we can meet face to face. Nobody's gonna like, it's gonna be safe. It'll be in public, but I would like it if you guys noticed first, and then we can get the rest of Jacksonville to notice and do something about this, or help us in doing something about it. But we need help from ourselves. We need to help ourselves first, in my opinion, and I think that's the strategy my group is, or our group. I'm not the leader of the group, I'm just the organizer. Will initially try to execute. Does he consider a class action lawsuit as well with his group? That would be awesome. I think it's a great idea. I think injunctions and legal means are totally valid. I don't know how effective they're going to be. I think our group has decided that this approach is the first approach to take. But again, I think if we had 50 to 75 people who are active in our group, we could come up with like enough funds and enough agreement between us as a community to at least get the legal support to begin that process. I mean, we just have to start, so I'm with you on that. Like, I'm totally up for that. And I think a lot of the members of our group are totally up for that as well. So those are my answers to your questions that I can't post because I'm banned, but hopefully somehow you'll catch wind of this. All right, let's see what else we've got. And so Lydia has her responses to this. This is great. Marianne says she's not able to attend the meeting. Marianne, I'm going to just read your post since it does address me as well. Thanks, Lydia, by the way, for responding to some of these since I'm unable to do so. I was not able to attend the meeting. I think both this group and the HOA should probably work together. And look, we're happy to work together with the HOA, but here's the thing. And again, I mean, our group has their own kind of, like, I don't make the decisions for our group, right? I'm just the organizer. We have a leader. Judy is our leader. Anybody knows Judy, you can work with her also. She kind of makes final decisions for our group more than anybody else does. I make a lot of decisions as the organizer just from a kind of a ground level detail point. But anybody who's a part of our group who's like active in the group, so there's like a reason to believe that they're contributing, is going to have a huge say in what we do. Like, we don't have any kind of like rigid power structure at this point. So I think coming back to this work with the HOA, I think we'd be happy to work with anybody, including the current HOA. I'm not against the HOA in any way, shape, or form. I don't know the HOA. Wow, how could I be against them? I'm just going to say what my opinion is about this issue. I have no opinions about the HOA. That said, if by work together you mean work for them, in other words, do what they tell us to do and only work under their direction, that I don't think I'm up for that personally at this time, because I don't have any reason to believe that that would be productive for us to just do what they ask, because they don't seem to be effective, just from what I can tell, and from what everything that I've heard from our group members as well. Now look, that's just our opinions. You're welcome to disagree and think that the HOA is just going to save us. But there's no reason for me to believe that at this time, from what I can tell. So if by work together you mean to just do what they tell you to do and don't do anything else, I'm a no to that personally. And I think that those that have actively attended our group, I don't speak for them, right? But I can tell you what from my perspective is, which is it seems that they're not up for that either, because we just, I don't think that our group has had a positive experience in terms of having expectations met from the activities of the HOA in terms of this issue. I hope that is clear. But working together is cool. Working under them, not cool in my opinion. And our group is going to make that decision. I'm not going to make the decision for us. I'm not in a position to do that, other than that I've organized the group. As mentioned before, the HOA is working to put their action plan in play. Little late for that, don't you think? But is not able to provide complete transparency at this time. So, yeah, again, this is what I got banned for, evidently, is not being as transparent as the admin wanted, and yet here the HOA is saying, shouldn't the HOA be banned then? I don't know, is that not a double standard? Is that not just an authority argument? I don't know. Anyway, maybe I'm being a little bit too volatile about that one. But okay, fine. But is not able to provide okay, until things are actually progressed in order to be most effective. So I really hope that's true. It doesn't seem like that's the case. That's all. But I could be deluded on that. Please attend the meeting. I think some members of our group are going to attend the meeting. I actually have a conflict for Tuesday night. There's no way I'll be able to be there. I'd be happy to attend. It'd be very interesting, though. Hopefully the two groups can work together, as I think we have great approaches. Together we'd have much greater impact to change the course of the project. I think that's it's fair to say that. I think together we would probably have a greater impact. I just think also that if we're going to work together, that means that we're both going to work together. And it just, from what I've heard about, and again, this is all hearsay, so it's not really fair for me to say on my part, but I'll say it just for transparency as to my perspective. I don't know that the HOA would be up for working together with us. It's not apparent yet that that's the case, and I can't say that they wouldn't, because we just started meeting, and hopefully that will actually come to pass. So, and if anybody, whether you're an admin or a member of this community group, this Facebook group, see this, I hope that this helps give more information. If you're interested in listening to it. I would love to have an open dialogue with anybody in this way, in an efficient fashion, and the way that we have selected to do that at this time is by having our little group meetings and setting up our little email list so that I can email you guys and keep you abreast of what's going on, and setting up our little Fight the Power Lines Facebook group. If you guys don't trust us enough to give us some contact info or join a group to have a dialogue with us, then so be it. I don't know if I can help with that. We're just fellow neighbors. if we're going to talk to each other, don't you think we need contact information on each other? Yeah, just seems a little odd to have that deep level of depth of distrust on a default basis. I live here, everybody in our group lives here. Everything that we've set up is structured to support a dialogue between people that live here. That's all. And nobody's trying to take your information and use it against you in some way. In fact, I've done the best I can. I haven't been perfect, but I've done the best I can as the organizer of this group to protect your information, to make sure that only me and the leader are the ones who have access to this list, so we can distribute our emails to you and make a phone call to you if we need to. And nobody else has access to that, and I'm doing the best I can to make sure that that's kept private. This is not a professional organization where we have everything perfectly structured in that way. I'm not going to apologize for that. I'll just do the best I can as a member of the community to help. If that's not enough for you, that's not enough for you. So anyway, wherever you see this video, whether it's wherever I posted it, feel free to comment. I'll do my best to respond. And if I don't respond, it's not because I'm trying not to be transparent. It's because either I don't have a response for you, or I got busy and I missed it. And in either case, you can direct message me, because I've always been very public about who I am. So just reach out to me. You can direct message me on Facebook. I believe my contact information is available on my Facebook profile as well. And if this is posted on my YouTube account, I believe you'll be able to find my contact information as well. So that said, hopefully we can get together and have even more open communication. But when you do this, it makes it a lot harder to do that.